Hey, fancy meeting you guys here. It's Dr. G, and we are on a field trip. Apparently, we're not in the office at the regular old cramped up space of the office at my desk, and I'm going to talk to you about something that everybody has to do here if you're going to be on your nutritional journey, on either for weight loss or if it's for lifestyle modifications, and that's going shopping for a few things. Some things you should be incorporating into your nutrition at one of our local grocery stores here in South Florida, Publix. Pretty popular, has just about everything, not everything exactly. We don't get all of our groceries from here because just the freshness of some, and we like to select some of our cuts of our meat from our butcher, so I'll talk about those separately, but just about everything we need we can get out of Publix. So come on. Here we are. We've made our way over to the produce aisle where most people start. Well, I do. Lots of people like to start their shopping experience. Here we have the green leafies, which is a great place to get a good source of your iron. They're high in fiber, low in carbohydrates. You can cook them in a variety of ways, but the important thing is what we're going to pick up out of these things, right? So one of the most, flavorful things that we can get here, and we can cook in a variety of ways, is organic kale. We eat this at the house pretty often, probably like twice or 3 times a week. I do. We try to incorporate it into our salads. We can saute it. You don't want to overcook it because you want to break down some of the nutrients in there, but the fiber and some of the minerals that are in here. So this is one thing that we pick up on, we have available at the house, and this is something that you can incorporate into your nutrition and picking it up on your way around the grocery store. This is one. We're going to get this. So we'll bag this up. You want to get the leafies that are nice and, not frayed, not brown, none of this is brown. This is a great one. Here's something else that you can saute, and also you can eat raw if you shred it up and put it into like a bit of a salad. If you've eaten beet greens right here, this is very similar. This is called Swiss chard. This was not a good example. Obviously, this is a bad example. This is what you should not buy, right? So we're gonna look for a better example if we have one. This is good to see that what you shouldn't buy, right? These are not so good. But anyway, we're not gonna pick these up, but let's talk about them anyway, right? We're gonna put these back so we don't get thrown out of here. Anyway, so we're gonna saute this up. You can saute these up, but this is what it looks like, right? You got this big red vein down the middle, high in iron, high in fiber, low in carbs. We saute these up with a bit of garlic and olive oil. Very tasty. You can put them next to, your whatever carbs that you're gonna put on there, your brown rice, your quinoa, along with your protein. I like to have it with a bit of a pork loin, lean pork loin, grilled pork loin, and tastes great. So yeah, we're gonna put this back, but this was not a good example. So you know what not to buy, but we're looking for vibrant leaves like this, green leaves. So that's our Swiss chard. Something else you can pick up here, and I've talked about it before, and I know that I've got a lot of pushback as far as, folks saying why are you saying not to eat, cruciferous veggies? I never said avoid them altogether. I'm saying those people or patients who are on GLP-1 agonists might want to avoid them because they are more of a gas-forming veggie. So that means it's our broccoli, it's our cauliflower, and our cabbage over here. So, right? So you got your fresh cauliflower. This is something that we do at the house. My wife would say that I shouldn't be doing this as much. I'm probably on the side of the folks that maybe it's a little bit more gaseous, so I got to be very careful about when I'm taking this into my body if I don't want to embarrass myself on the elevator. Anyhow, broccoli, they're also great sources of fiber. Some folks, they make them a little bit more regular. Lots of folks make it a little bit more regular. So your broccoli, your cauliflower, also a good thing to pick up. Cruciferous vegetables are okay. Again, the statement that I made in the video about the 11 things to avoid is for patients and people who have a propensity to produce more gas. So don't just wholly avoid them. Another great thing to pick up is asparagus. Asparagus are great to probably next to any piece of protein. Great source of fiber, especially when you're on your GLP-1 agonist, can help you to be a lot more regular due to some of the non-digestible fibers that are in the asparagus. So that's also a go. So lots of goes here. In general, we don't want to eliminate 100% any one of these vegetables if we can, but there are ones that you want to go ahead and pick up. And in the end, I would like for any of these suggestions I make, I want you to pick up things that you like to taste and you want to continue to eat. I've always said this, you want to create new habits, you want to create new eating habits, new nutrition habits, but ones that you can maintain for the rest of your life. So let's move on. Before we go to the next section, I do want to backtrack a little bit. We have one of my go-tos, spinach. Here in this particular food grocery chain, Publix, you know, their natural brand is Greenwise, and they have different boxes and different packages, the different mixes. But I really don't like the mixed boxes that they have, or any of the packaged vegetables is just not something I like to go for. But if you can find baby spinach, either in the, you know, fresh, or if you can get them packaged early in these things. I know you really can't tell when they stamp them. Sometimes they put the date on there. So, you know, baby spinach is a great way to just throw a salad together. Tastes great. You can season it up a little bit. You can throw a little bit of lime on your salad, and you know, it's just a great way. If you're meal prepping, or if you are strapped for time, you get home late from work, and you just need something, you know, that's not high calorie, but will fill you in the evening time for a late dinner when you don't want to eat too much after dark, 7, 8 p.m. This baby spinach and spinach in general is a great source of iron, a great source of, well, low in carbs and low in calories. Great way to fill up the belly in the late evening. Good idea. Pick up some spinach. Another kind of vegetable I want to talk about are the non-starchy veggies. And this includes your bell peppers, green peppers, your yellow peppers, your red peppers. Great sources of fiber. And they're also, well, on the other end, they just help to fill up your belly as well, just like the spinach. And you can cook these up in a variety of ways. So basically take on the flavor of whatever seasonings you have in the meal. I love to throw them in almost every lunch. I have some sort of vegetable medley or sauteed veggies. And the peppers in different colors have different micronutrients. The macros we talked about before, your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, you're not gonna get a lot of those from here, but you will get the micronutrients. Your minerals and your vitamins are gonna come from the vibrant colors that come from fruits like these or vegetables like these, right? So pick these up. Now I'm gonna show you really quick the difference. You're gonna have them always, you know, show these are loose, and you may have a bit of a, you know, price difference versus something that comes like this. It looks almost fake. Doesn't look exactly the same. I don't have any, you know, real proof or data about these, but we never buy these in prepackaged. Just, I don't know. I guess it's me. I just don't like them choosing for me the 3 that I'm gonna get. So I like to feel and touch and get the ones that we want. So grab a couple of those. The loose ones just make me feel as though that I'm picking up the ones that are the freshest are going to cook and taste the best, all right? So before we go on, let's talk about some of the herbs. Like, you wanna season your food in the most freshest ingredients. You can do that with some of these herbs that are out here on the shelf. Here at this supermarket, not one of the places we pick up our herbs, but I just wanna show you them. Instead of buying the dried herbs, you can buy thyme or oregano dried and ground in a plastic bottle and have it at the home. Why not use fresh herbs like these? You can pick these up fresh outside of a package like this at different markets in where you live or wherever your favorite farmer's market is. So consider, instead of buying dried thyme in a shaker, buy it fresh and use it as you go, as you're cooking week to week. It gives it a more of a lively flavor, more fresh flavor, and you get to use less additives inside of those bottles, because it's not just, many times, it's not just oregano, not just thyme. It's something, it's dried, it's old. You want to use fresh ingredients. So just a tip to season up your foods, instead of using shakers and things that have been processed, use some of these items here that are fresh. I want to say something really quick about our quote unquote nightshade fruit or nightshade plants. And one of the most popular one, I guess, is tomatoes, right? Got a comment yesterday about our nightshade plants. Come on. And there's a substance in these plants called solenoids. And that substance is basically been found to be pro-inflammatory to some patients who already have a pro-inflammatory issue. If you have ulcerative colitis or chronic gastritis or something like that, you can wake it up if you eat enough of those type of nightshade plants. But it doesn't mean that every single person who has a tomato in their salad is going to have a pro-inflammatory response. So I don't want us to completely take off these plants and these natural occurring foods because of just one portion of the population who just can't eat it. There are many things that you are going to be allergic to that I can have. You may have a peanut allergy. Peanuts are great. I don't have an allergy. That doesn't mean just because it has a very bad reaction for your body that it is a total no-go for everyone else. So yes, I understand nightshades are pro-inflammatory, and those who have inflammatory disease, diabetes is a part inflammatory disease as well. So if you monitor your intake with the food and you notice that there is an inflammatory response, and for a diabetic, that response would be increased blood sugar, then yeah, you should take that off the plate for yourself. But that doesn't mean for the whole family, no one else should have tomatoes or potatoes or eggplants. These things are vegetables that should be on the table or should be options for just about everyone, right? Here's a fruit that you may find at your local grocery. We seem to find it here a lot here in South Florida, and my son loves it. Dragon fruit. Well, not very sweet, but sweet, like many fruits, and it has anti-inflammatory properties, vitamin C rich, very tolerable. It's very easy on the digestive system. This is one that we pick up on not a daily basis, but almost every time we come to the grocery. I'm gonna pick this up for the kiddo. I wanted to point out the pears, of course. Pears are low glycemic fruit, something that we should incorporate, or we can incorporate as fruit snacks, especially those who are on GLP-1 agonists. If you're not a diabetic, you would want to be sure that you're not going to drop your blood sugars in times of, with a low appetite. You're not eating as much. Next thing you know, your blood sugar's dropping throughout the day. You're like, this is just terrible. I feel fatigued. I feel terrible because you're not having enough, fruit snacks to push you through the day. And of course, we have to, the GLP-1 agonists drop our appetite. We don't want it to go to zero just to lose weight. We want to use it to improve our nutrition. Do not forget that. Also, after the pears, we have our plums, which are also a lower glycemic fruit. So after our pears, we happen to have our fruit here. Right next to our pears, we have our plums. Sweet, portable. You can use these for a pick-me-up throughout the day as well. Not very high in calories. I would say the plums are probably in the moderate range for glycemic index, moderate to low. But again, all of these suggestions for fruit are something, if you're a diabetic, or even if you're not a diabetic, if you are concerned about spiking your blood sugar, I would recommend either getting a glucometer to check to see what all of these foods do to you after you eat it, maybe 1 to 2 hours after, or invest into a continuous glucose monitor. Probably the most convenient one, the most economic one to get if you're not a diabetic, you're not getting it through your insurance, would likely be, I'm not making a commercial or anything, but I've used it before, is the Libre 2. It's pretty convenient, pretty easy to get. You could get it off Amazon. I think it goes for about 90 bucks for a sensor that goes for 2 weeks. And you just pair it to your smartphone, and it tells you exactly what your blood glucose is on a 24-hour basis. Every 8 hours, it rewrites itself. But anyway, get on a continuous glucose monitor. If you're concerned that there's a fruit here or food here that is spiking your blood glucose. But anyway, even if you're not concerned, you want to get an inventory of everything that's going on with your body. Just get the continuous glucose monitor for the first 2 weeks that you're doing these nutritional changes. You'll probably run through all of the things you really, really like, and you'll get some information on, man, I really like plums, but every time I have a plum, my glucose goes up 100 points, or it goes up 70 points or whatever. Or I'm on pears. Every time I can have 10 pears, doesn't move. And I get all the nutritional benefits from it, and I feel full, and I have the energy, and I have no spike. Who knows? Everyone is different. There's no cookbook that's for every single person. It's no one size fit all with nutrition at all. So it's very important to understand that, right? Here's some higher glycemic index food, mangoes for most folks. So if you're gonna do it, I'm not gonna take it off the table 100%. You gotta do it in moderation. I'd be like maybe 1 a week. For me, definitely it'd be a 1 a week type thing. Let's get to the bananas. So here we are at the bananas, and pretty slim pickings. Look like we had some banana fanatics come through here and picked up everything. But anyhow, the difference here, you have some here that are a little bit greener and that are not ready, green bananas. And then you have the ripe ones that are nice bright yellow. On a glycemic index, these would be on the higher side. These are definitely high glycemic index fruit, bananas, the yellow ones. And then the greener ones, like this one, this bunch, would be on the lower side. You could still enjoy your bananas if you like them. If you're concerned about, spiking your blood sugars, these are the ones you want, right? But if you know you spike blood sugars with the green ones and you need the energy, like a pick-me-up to go to a gym or something, maybe you want to choose the yellow ones. So you can use your own physiology to make it fit for you, right? But if you're going to sit around the house, you know it spikes your blood sugar, you just need a meal, that probably would not be a good choice for you. You probably would want to go through and pick up the green bananas or green herb bananas because of the glycemic index jump that you'll get on the yellow ones. Let's jump over here where we have sweet potatoes. Now, sweet potatoes are tasty, right? These are all long been used by nutrition buffs and people who are into nutrition and people who are weightlifters and body influencers and fitness influencers and all that, because these slowly increase the blood glucose. These are very low on a glycemic index, especially in comparison to their cousin, the white potatoes, right? The regular old white potatoes taste great, right? We love them. But this is the one you want to pick up. If you like the starchiness, you're still going to get carbs out of it, but these are slower to increase your blood glucose than your pancreas and your whole body. The hormones have time to lower the blood glucose or maintain the blood glucose, and then you can use that energy during a longer period. Sweet potatoes versus much better pick than the other potatoes, the white potatoes. All right. We're in the snack aisles. We're gonna pick up a couple of snacks for the house too. We're gonna put it in the pantry. This is something that, you know, if you get the munchies or something in the middle of the day, we'd like to have things for myself, the kid, the wife to pick up. Now you have obviously fruit and chocolate mix. No, don't pick this up. This is not the way to go. We wanna pick up stuff like just peanut butter chocolate on here. So you have another one, this one. Things like this will have Power Up trail mix. It has, you know, you got your cranberries in here. It's like some mango to here, okay, but you have your almonds, your walnuts, your pumpkin seeds. These are high in omega fatty acids, pick-me-ups, great for energy, low in carbs, and high in fiber. So great place to get some energy, a cleaner energy than, you know, any of these candy-based trail mixes. So yeah, actually gonna pick one of these up. This is gonna be for the house. Got one of those. Now I wanna highlight this section of the store. This is the section when I was a kid that I would, you know, my eyes would light up, and most kids light up too, right? The cakes. No. No. Say no to the cakes. The refined sugars. This is the refined sugar depository of the supermarket where they store all these things, and no good, right? We don't want to do any of those cakes. We're going to skip that. But we do have a taste for bread, right? We don't want to do refined products, but we can, and we do want to pick up these type of breads. If you have to have bread, you like bread, this is something that we want to pick up. High in fiber, you got your 40 grams of whole grain in here, and this is slow to increase your blood sugar as well. Of course, you can overdo it, and you come into a problem with the other additives in there. You have some salt in there, and other things, but this is a better option than your regular old Wonder Bread there, who's, you know, the great white hope of bread. But we're gonna go with the whole grain breads. Yep, we're gonna pick up this if you need this at the house as well. You have different flavors or different brands like much of anything else. We tend to pick up Pepperidge Farm, but you know, we have other ones like Arnold, which is really, really good. Artisanal breads that are multi-grain and do the same thing. And it's owing, the reason it does that is it's owing to the type of the wheat. It's not refined. The wheat that they make, the flour that they use, it's owing to the flour that they use. It's not refined. So definitely something that we want to consider when we're picking up bread. Here we are at the legumes and rice aisle. Great place to get iron, low carbohydrates, but great place for iron. And it also fills your belly. So when we pick up, we like lentils as well. Lentils are a good source of iron, fill the belly, and just a good way to round out your nutrition as far as adding some variety to it, right? So lentils are a good place for iron and fiber. We pick up this brand right here, True Root. We picked up as well Greenwise, which is the brand for here at Publix. And if you're looking at the calories are about the same. The servings are a little bit different, so you can't really go side by side. But you'll see the total fat about 1 gram, which is 1% of the daily recommended value per serving. You have a lot of fiber, like I said, 28% in the Greenwise and 35% here in the True Roots. And then you have some protein here, 8 grams and 10 grams. So this accounts for the calorie difference, with the protein difference being increased in the True Roots. So quite actually, that's just one of the reasons why we picked this up. But don't look at just why the number, understand that the calories are increased because you have more of the proteins that are in there, which is what we're chasing in these legumes. Black beans also are a go, and this is one of the brands that we pick up often here, so we'll pick up some black beans. But of course, all these legumes, the garbanzos, the chickpeas, better known as chickpeas, garbanzos, same thing. This is good stuff. Iron, again, 160 calories per serving. We're talking about, again, 3% of the daily allowance of total fat, and carbohydrates, total carbs at 10%, and your dietary fiber 18%. So this is another good source of protein, 9 grams of protein per serving. Oh, you can't get enough protein in. These are hidden ways that you can go ahead and add into your protein bucket for your protein, good fats, and then your carbohydrates. So you can't eat enough meats, man. Add some of these chickpeas and lentils to your diet. So here we are, we're the rice aisle. So here in the United States, it's very common to have rice almost included, I'd say almost every meal. And now that other cultures are coming in and they're bringing in their rice habit, we have more and more rice options in just about every restaurant you go to. If you go out and, rice is a common thing to be able to order, even if it's not included with the dish, you can get it on the side. One of the things we don't talk about as children coming up, or we don't get taught, is the difference between what is white rice and brown rice. And we eat what we're used to, right? So we typically got fed, we're coming up, the white rice. And the white rice is, tasty, and it's easy to eat, and it's easy on chewing and all that. But tends to be a high glycemic food. It spikes the blood sugar, and it also really has no nutritional value. I'm not going to say that the brown rice, the whole grain rice, is all, so much more nutritional value, but it is slower to increase the blood sugar. That's one of the reasons why we're choosing the brown rice versus white rice. And what is the real difference between the two? The difference between white rice and brown rice is, you probably never looked at it. The grain of the rice is inside of a husk. There's actually a covering on the outside of the rice that this white rice has been processed, refined, and they've removed all those husks, right? Different grains of rice, you have your long range, your basmati, all different types of rice, but the outside of the husk is what, helps to slow down that sugar spike or the glucose spike that you get from white rice. So that, plus there is some of the nutritional value of rice is inside the husk anyway. So they basically dumb down the rice when we take off the husk and we have white rice. So always a better option to get the brown rice versus the white rice. So let's move on. And here we are at every kid's favorite part of the aisle, the pasta aisle. We got our macaronis, we got our large seashells, our rotinis. Much like the rice, we have the same deal going on here. We have a whole grain spaghetti versus our regular refined thin spaghetti. The differences between the two lie in, number one, the total amount of fat we have and the total amount of carbohydrates. So your carbohydrates here on this one per serving is 42 grams, and the carbohydrate here are 38 grams. Dietary fiber also a lot higher in your whole grain. So you get more fiber, get less carbs out of your brown rice, and easier to digest, again, slower to increase the blood sugars with the brown rice, with the added benefit of fiber. So again, if you had to choose, probably the brown pastas, be it rotini, be it your elbows macaroni, your ziti. Come on, real quick. Our previous aisle, we didn't talk about one of my favorites, the quinoa. Quinoa is also a multigrain, whole grain option. If you like rice, but you don't want to go to brown rice from white rice, quinoa is a great option. You can give it the flavor. You can put different types of broth in the water to cook it. Tastes amazing. It's a staple in many places in the Middle East, part of their diet. High in fiber, low glycemic index. Quinoa, great option for those who like the starchiness, but want to avoid, white rice. Here we are at the cooking oils, right? So we wanted to get virgin oil, olive oils are great, and avocado oils. Cooking high heat, smoke temperatures, so you can cook at high heat with them. Way better than our cooking oils over here, the mazzolas, which we should stay away from. High in saturated fats. So olive oil like this, extra virgin olive oil, and it also has a great taste, right? You can saute your vegetables, the asparagus that we're talking about, and the kales, and the Swiss chard. All of these can be sauteed in these olive oils. Now there's a lot of controversy. We're learning more and more and more about the effects of saturated fats versus unsaturated fats or monosaturated fats, and if they really do affect cardiovascular disease. There's still more and more coming out. But as far as for inflammatory issues or anti-inflammatory properties, these oils are a much better option. Pick these up in lieu of your other oils. And we're not deep frying anything anyway, right? We're not deep frying our chicken, and we're not deep frying our foods. A good way to wreck your weight loss journey. By frying foods, we just tend to overeat. We tend to eat carbs with it. We make bad decisions when we're frying it. And of course, to make those fried foods in the deep fryer taste better, we are adding things like extra salt and extra seasoning into our nutrition. So just stay away from it anyway. So here we are in the dreaded dairy aisle. We got our eggs, we got our milk, and we have our yogurt. And I know that, you know, I personally am not huge on dairy. We don't do dairy very often because of the pro-inflammatory properties of dairy. But I know there are times where I want a snack. I do like ice cream, to be honest with you, but don't do it much. We can jump to things like something like Greek yogurt. Now, Greek yogurt is high in fat. You can get low-fat options. It's the best way, probably, that you can get probiotics. At least you're getting something out of it, the probiotics from it. And you can add the berries and the raspberries and blueberries, which we didn't get over there. They were out of season, didn't look very good, but those are something else in the fruits that you can add, or you should add. Low glycemic fruits, good snacks, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, all of those berries should be added. And you can add them to something like this. Put some granola in there, and now you've got a pretty healthy snack. Just to kill the long hunger. Maybe you're one of the people that like to have something at night. So what I'm trying to say is giving you options, healthier options, maybe not the healthiest option, but this is a healthier option than what you might have done, which is a pint of ice cream or, you know, some sugary cereal with some milk. So you can do this, you know, maybe drizzle a little bit of honey on there if you have a bit of a sweet tooth. Not too bad for the weight loss. So this is a great snack coupled with some of those fruits that you can eat to maintain on your healthcare journey, your lifestyle modification journey. We're gonna take this too. So here we are. Got some goodies for the house, nutritional stuff. I hope you enjoyed the shopping experience with Dr. G. If you can find a lot of these things at your local supermarket, I didn't find everything I wanted here. I couldn't find were the berries. We're gonna get those at the farmer's market. They're gonna be things that you won't be able to find at your farmer's market. As you grow your nutritional list, your new nutritional list for your new lifestyle journey, you wanna go more and more organic. You wanna go grass-fed. The meats also, I don't get here, so I didn't even go down that aisle, but you wanna go grass-fed, top sirloin for your beef, some lean loin pork if you're gonna do pork. If you're going to do chicken, stay away from the chicken with the skin on it. Always, well, we do chicken breast with no skin, lean always, and always as antibiotic-free, preservative-free meats. A meat market that's local here, we have a butcher that we usually go to at the meat market. So didn't want to go through that here because the choices are just not really that what we would want to do. But those are what you want to do for your proteins. That's why we didn't do that. But we've got everything else that we need. Most of the things that we need here should be available around at your local supermarket. So I hope you enjoyed the shopping experience with Dr. G. See you soon.